Hello, hello. You know, I always love the nice people in here that like Jill from on her iPhone that says your hair always looks great because I'm not feeling that way right now. I'm feeling it's a little jagged. So thank you. I love women who empower women. Can we just say that, ladies? Don't you love women who empower women? I love men who empower men and men who empower women too. But you know, it's not as normal for women to empower women. Do we know that? Yes. I mean, a lot of times women get a little catty and they get a little competitive. Guys, you all thought you were the ones that get competitive, but the women get competitive. It's not always what we're wearing. Sometimes it's how we're showing up or what we're doing, right? Or what we have in our life. So, ladies, I just want to do a shout out to all the women who feel inspired when you see another woman win. And you actually feel inspired and you don't allow that feeling to make you feel like you're less than because you don't have that result yet. And so I just want to just honor you for that because I think it was a great start to this live this morning. How you guys doing this morning? We good? Okay, I'm literally driving down the street. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm literally driving down the street and just I don't know if I wasn't really screaming, but I was like, woo! Like I went to go get a tea and I walk into the coffee shop and literally I think the girl thought I was on drugs. I'm pretty sure because every time like the person talking before me, I was so excited to get in their conversation. That's not like me normally, right? Like I'll wait my turn, I'll smile, but I was like, good morning, how are you? I think it's going to be a good day. Okay, somebody's like, she's annoying the heck out of me, but I am not going to dampen my energy because somebody doesn't like me up. Right? Do you guys hear what I'm saying? I am telling you, and I know some of you guys have faced this, and we're going to talk about sales today because I promised you that's kind of our focus right now. We want to do what scares us in the month of October. Woo, Halloween. We want to do what scares us for the month of October. And I love that Halloween can remind us of that because if we actually did what scared us, you've heard the saying, do what scares you every day. If you did what scared you once a week, you'd probably 3x your company. Seriously, you probably 3x your company. We did something called a Bring a Friend contest for Zone Event. And there was one person who was actually competing against some other people in our company and that were playing. It was actually you, Esteban, and Zena. And she had a really hard time like stepping up to the plate in the competition. The reason why I share this with you is because this person is extraordinary, super talented, and a rock star. But we don't realize we have blind spots, right, y'all? Where we choose comfort over courage. And it looks something like this. You know what? I just don't feel it. I never felt like speaking on stages. Some of you guys have heard me say that. I just don't feel it. Or, gosh, there's so many of them. But I'll tell you the one that's hurt the most for me. The one that's hurt the most for me is when I bring out my natural excitement and it makes people feel uncomfortable. And that has been the one that I can tell you that if there is a devil on this planet walking, which I think there is, that's the one that he tries to get me on. Do you know what I mean? Do any of you guys relate to that? And so I'm going to tell you there's a direct correlation to my sales when I'm up versus when I'm very professional. And when I'm very professional, there's just something missing in my essence. Excitement. Like if you knew you could make, I don't know, $10,000 in the next hour, would you be excited? Right? Now there's different tiers to that. Would it be amazing if you could make $10,000 in the next hour and you didn't have to do anything? Like we just could study. How many of you guys would be like, whoa, oh my gosh, like what if you could make $10,000 every hour and you and I could have some tea or coffee together? And you could keep studying being an entrepreneur. Keep studying, like some of you guys are going to grow companies or you already have them that are really big. And it's going to require you to study your leadership. Right? Being a coach or you being a fulfillment or some who speaks here, put S, right? You being a speaker or a content creator or a real estate agent, when it's just the beginning and it's just you, you're like every role, right? You're the funding for the company, you're the content creator, you have to price it out unless you're in real estate, but you're still in real estate. You tell people what to price their house at. You're kind of everything. You're responsible to make sure that the bank account balances out and then you've got enough money for taxes at the end of the year, right? And so you're everything. Well, as you grow, and if you want to grow faster, you have to find a way to get sales off your plate. And this is a big aha that a lot of people have because they think I'm not ready. And some of you guys have heard me talk about this last year. And it's an important factor, and I want to bring it back up, okay? Because what gets us excited when you see me go, woo! It's actually because I've caught a vision. Right? I've caught a vision. So when I used to run a program called Pace Club, and I used to, any old OGs, original gangsters out there with Pace Club, right? A few of you, yeah. So in Pace Club, if you did Pace Club, put Pace in the chat. I'm really curious. So in Pace Club, I had a start, like everybody started in January and they finished in December. And then I would do a second one. So it's going to come down to strategy. How did I build? Look at my new agenda. I'm so excited about this. You guys, we're sharing this at Zone Event, by the way. This is how I manage my time, but really not even as much manage my time, how I manage my mind so that I'm on these different runways in my life so I can create the results that I want. And the only way I don't get overwhelmed is to manage the runways. So we're actually going to be launching that, and I'm using it right now and I'm loving it. Okay. So when I built Pace Club, I first was a salesperson. I did the list building. I did all the stuff, right? So really to launch any company, you first have to start with, you got to have an audience, right? And I don't mean a social media audience because you just can't reach them all. You got to have an email and text message list. And I would say your goal should always be 10,000 or more. Okay. It should be a non-negotiable. You know how to prioritize your time if you don't have 10,000 people on your email list. Okay. Now, if you have 10,000 people, then we're monetizing cash. You're monetizing cash. I mean, you're focusing on cash all the way, right? But you focus on your products and services and having consistent cash. And then you go back to the list and get the list more like the 50,000 mark. Okay. If you can get it to 2,000, you can get it to 50,000. The only difference is your drive. That's it. It's 100% in your power. It's your drive. And if you hang out with people who dim your light or people who want to have an opinion on the fact that you're changing because you're going to the next level, you need to put them in check. Okay, because I'm going to tell you the number one thing that has hurt me along the way is allowing those words inside my head. I spent a couple years not having high energy because somebody that I cared about, actually my close friend, didn't tell me that she was hurting in her life. And she said, I wasn't ready to get out of it. And although that had nothing to do with me, I was like, I don't want to not have a close relationship with my friend because I'm too excited in life. I mean, when I say it, it's absolutely insane. It's like my friend Bedros. Does anybody know Bedros? Put a B in the chat. I called Bedros. So the nice thing about having great friends that are up to big things is they never tell you to chill out. They never tell you to chill out. They never say, Shanda or Esteban or Carrie, you should chill out. Because they're always thinking that a rainy day is coming, right? Like they don't want you to chill out. They want you to build an empire. They don't want you to build a business. They want you to build an empire. And they're easier to build than you think. Now, what's hard is the fact that everybody's going to have something to say about you along the way. And I'm telling you, I know you've heard it. You've heard it from Rachel Hollis. You've heard it from, Dean Graziosi. You've heard it from Tony Robbins. You've heard it from Grant Cardone. You've heard it from all of us. But I'm telling you, that the people in your life and even customers and clients along the way will have something to say about you if you start to build an empire. Okay? So when you can control your company, you can control a little bit of the customer service. When it gets bigger, you don't have control over your company. Do you know what I mean? In fact, to scale, everybody write this down, to scale, you must let go of control. So does anybody have a vision to go bigger in your sales volume? Yes or no? Yes or no? For real. Do you have for real? Like, do you have a desire to go bigger in your sales volume? Okay. So I'm going to tell you as a coach When I mentor, I'm giving you strategy. When I'm coaching your leadership. As a coach, I'm telling you, you have to identify where you're being controlling. So if you won't make the offer, I used to never make the offer. I was like, I can't make the offer. If I make the offer, they're going to think that I'm so pushy. I am the worst human in the world. And then urgency bonuses to add a bonus to my offer felt sleazy. It was like, everybody tells you success loves preparation. So you prepare for the offer and you think through an urgency bonus. And now they know you thought about it. And so you're sleazy because you actually went in knowing you were going to make an offer. Like that's a crap I had to go through. Anybody else with me? Say yes if that's any of you guys, right? So you have to be able to, like, the thick skin that Brene Brown talks about. It's real. It's real, right? So I called Bedros up. This was years ago. Bedros is like my big brother, right? So I called Bedros up and I'm like, Bedros, I have a guy that's been working on my account that works for a friend of mine. My friend let him go. And I said, I really like, and my friend was consulting me. Like, so I used to have this big agency that ran Heartcore, ran our ads and our traffic. And Kevin was his name. I loved Kevin. And Kevin said, Shanda, you're getting big. Like you got to stop using agencies. And they're big guys that use agencies, but usually they use a few of them. And then they have somebody in-house, right? Usually, not always. It depends on the leader, right? Like, and it really depends on what they can handle in their bandwidth to strategize through. No different than you, right? What you've handled and what you've put in your business has everything to do with your thinking power. You've either sat down and thought about it and you caught a new vision that got you fired up, and then you prioritize that, like building a traffic team or a sales team or whatever that looks like. Sales is what we're going to talk about more today. So I called Bedros. I'm like, my friend Kevin is telling me, and he knows Kevin, is telling me I need to build in-house. I know I need to build in-house. But like the person I want to build in-house was the person that he fired, right? And they had a rub. And so I won't tell you why that happened, but basically Kevin didn't fire him because he sucked at what he did. He fired him because he had an issue with women. Like the guy that worked for him had a major issue with women. And I never saw that when I worked with him, but he's like, listen, he will behind the curtain, he's going to tear apart the women in your company. And I have a lot of them in my company. So, you know, sometimes you have to do the road of hard knocks. I know I coach. I'll say to somebody, hire a sales team, hire 2 people. It's like, I tried, Shanda, and I couldn't provide the leads. No. It wasn't that you couldn't provide the leads. You didn't prioritize the leads. So because you somehow thought that it wouldn't work, or the salesperson didn't come out of the chute and sell a bunch, and you're better at selling than them. And so you thought, I gotta get back into, you took over control again and you got back into sales. Can you see where the control is? Can you guys see that? So control is letting go of control is the only way that you scale. And you're going to hear people like Grant say, be a control freak. He's right. The control freak is actually the standard. It's not picking up the pen, taking all the calls. It's the standard. And I will tell you, I already know that you have got people in your life. Some of you guys have customers or clients. I've cleaned up people's audiences so many times. You have customers or clients that are so entitled on what they need from you or what they think that they deserve from you that you need to clean up your audience because you've led that from the front, right? Like I can tell you, I don't feel like I have entitled clients at all, right? I feel like I have really respectful clients, right? But there was a time I was a people pleaser. And guess who what do you think I led my community? A bunch of ass kissers, because that's what I was, right? And so what does that do? You always feel like you're getting the short end of the stick because you feel like you overgive. Overgiving is not a thing, but overgiving from the wrong place where you're actually controlling how people think about you from your give, like you're actually a good person because you give. It's all about that place. There's an expectation to get. And that will kill you. Okay, you guys hear what I'm saying? So here's what Bedros says to me. So let me get this straight. You don't want to hire this guy, Doug, because you don't want to step on Kevin's toes, and Kevin fired Doug. And you already called Kevin and said that you had an interest. You want to call Kevin and say you have an interest in hiring Doug. I think you're doing everything right. So I think really what you're doing, Shanda, is so you would rather like lose, because at that point it was like you'd rather lose $1 million a month than to just have a hard conversation with Kevin that if he is mad at you for hiring this person, it's Kevin's fault. It's Kevin's problem, not yours. He's like, he let him go. He doesn't want him. You didn't steal his person. You didn't go in and steal his clients. You didn't go and prospect his clients. You didn't go and steal his staff. You didn't do that. Like, he fired him. So he's like, so you rather care what Kevin thinks about you than do the right thing for your company. I was like, snap. So I picked up the phone immediately. I called Kevin, and Kevin's like, let me just give you the dirt so you have it. And he's like, bless you. If you need any help, call me. Why? Because Kevin's not offended. My friends, the number one thing that I'm seeing right now, and it's hurting sales, it's hurting business growth, it's hurting everything, is emotions. And what people believe that they should be getting out of something. This is happening in relationships. It looks like an unforgiving heart. It's killing you in your sales conversations, because at the end of the day, if you are worried what people think about you, like I was worried about what Kevin would think about me, right? Then you're not doing the right thing for your business. Okay, so I'm going to give you another story real quick. I'll show you how this ropes into sales. Friend of mine came to me and said they were really upset about a business deal that happened. And I'll give you one, actually. So you guys know I have a jet, right? I have a plane, and I have a partner in that plane who's a good friend of mine. And I was going to sell shares of my jet. And so I brought somebody to the table to do shares with our jet. And my other partner and that partner went and did another deal together. They bought a completely different jet. Okay, like they didn't consult me, they didn't call me. And at first I was like, really? I brought that person to the table for like, how'd that happen? And then they went off and did another business deal together that I quote unquote was cut out of. Okay. And I shared this with my friend the other night because they have a similar situation. And I said, we don't own people. And we're not, like, you've got to let go of this emotion of defense and offense. Because I'm going to tell you something. Just the other day, I was text messaging with Dean Graziosi. He said, I'll text you back. He didn't text me back. I mean, we were texting back and forth, and then he's like, I'm going to see if I can figure this thing out, and I'll text you back. He didn't text me back. Not the first time that's happened. It's not the first time it's happened during a launch. It's not the first time it's happened in our friendship, and I used to coach with him. Does that mean he's a bad person? No, I know that he is balling it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he's playing at a high level. He's got a new kid. He's got another little baby. Just did a event with Matthew McConaughey. Like, he's playing at the biggest level he can, right? My friend Jesse, right? Jesse actually had a call set up with me and didn't show up. I have never felt the need to go clear that with Jesse. Do you know what I mean? I know who he is. I know his heart. I know that I don't need somebody to tell me that he had a human moment. And I also don't need to sit behind closed doors and condemn him. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? I could keep going. Why am I sharing this with you? Because some of you guys have these unrealistic expectations of the people that work with you, your virtual assistants, your coaches, your spouses, the people you're dating. And then there's the flip. There's what people have on you. And I'm going to tell you the biggest thing that's so critically important. Listen, customers and clients are going to come and go. But you are stuck with you. And the way you run your game cannot be contingent on what other people's opinions are of you. Are you guys hearing me? Yes or no? I just had a moment where somebody said, Shanda and Ash lost their heart the last 2 years. I was like, oh. I was like, really? And then I had to course correct. Obviously, that's where this is coming from, right? Like I'm sharing this with you because like that actually reminded me of when I did PACE. and I trained people in Pace Club. And about at the 45-day mark, I would have the mean girls. And guess what the mean girls would do? They go gather some other people in the community. And instead of capitalizing on the program, they would come up with these wild stories. Like I was withholding coaching information from them, like the wildest things you could imagine. And anybody who knows me, that's not even close to I do Shanda on Demands. I give you everything, whether you're in a training or not with us, we give it to you, right? And so Ash would tell you the last time that happened in Pace Club, because it doesn't happen anymore in Mentor Me Live, but when they all started together, it was a 45-day mark. If I brought Jean Bills up here, like I'm not sharing this with you because I'm hurt right now. I'm sharing this with you because I want you to be aware of it. Right? I had Jean Bills who every 45 days of a new class starting, here come the mean girls. It was like clockwork. So like, it's not like we took it personal because we had so much data that it wasn't personal. There was going to be 1 to 2 leaders that were going to enroll each other, and they were going to rise up, and then they were going to talk to other people. And then what would happen is they would enroll 20, 30, 40 people to basically disconnect from the program. Do you want to know what I did? Every year, we ran 2 to 3 waves of Pace Club every year. I would kick out the top leader. I kick them out. And guess what would happen next? I know you guys are going to have to battle. Some of you guys are battling with this now, right? Literally, the community would rise up and say, you shut her voice down. I'm like, this is my living room. Like the entitlement. Can you see it? I haven't had that for many, many years because we don't run that program anymore. But it was always the 45-day mark. And it was right when they're list building, they would start to hit the fear on whether it was going to work or not work. And so instead of capitalizing, these strong leaders would flip and they would enroll people in the wrong direction. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So I share this with you because the reason I can sell, and I'll tell you my strategy. The reason why I can sell is because none of that phases me. I mean, if you get really close to me, like the heart thing hurt me yesterday when I heard that, I was like, really? Like I've never, ever once not been available for somebody who asked me to be. Like, if you send me a message, I'm answering, right? Like, I'm just not like, so that's defending. That's me defending, right? That's human, but you got to pivot out of that. Because for you to be able to, some of you guys have stages coming in at 5,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people. Some of you guys are going to be invited on CNN or the Today Show. Like these things are they're very possible for you to do. Okay, they are. It's just your drive. When you get a vision or a drive for it, you're like, I'm going to be on the Today Show. You can go from nothing to the Today Show, right? There is a path to that. I know the people who can do it for you. They helped my friend Amy Lacey, who almost lost her company. When I say almost lost her company, it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't making any money, right? And Jen Gottlieb and Chris Winfield grabbed a hold of her and boom, right? Did that cost money? Yes, she had to have enough faith. Spent the last few dollars she had. Then she became the first to market with cauliflower pizza, right? And so, and it's amazing to see people thrash her because I know her and she's like she's the woman that flies into the mastermind, has dinner with everybody in the mastermind, flies out to her kids' swim meet to make sure that all the way like 5 hours back to Florida from California, goes to her kids' swim meet and then takes the red eye back to make sure she's in the mastermind. And then I get a message the other day, I wish you and Brendan Burchard did events in Florida instead of Austin, Texas. It's just hard to get to Austin, Texas. I'm like, you're not making it. Like, I'm sorry, I might sound like an awful person, but she's not making it. You know what I mean? Like, can you guys see that? She's not making it. She won't make it. As long as she thinks that the event has to come to her where it's easy, she's not making it. And there's no strategy, tactic, advice that anybody can give that person because she can't even sell herself to get there. Who's having kind of an aha moment even with yourself? Where do you need to shift right now? Where do you need to go all in right now? Right? What does that look like for you? Get present to it because I'm not in your living room. I'm not in your office. right? I'm not in there. The days that I coached you every single week on a private coaching call, they're gone, right? The days that I met with 1%, like nonstop, they're gone, right? They're gone. Why are they gone? Because as you evolve, you have to change what you hold on to, right? You have to. You are human. I am human. If you're at the beginning of your business, the sales should be easy. You know why? It has nothing to do with your credibility. It has to do with how you see people. So the number one thing, some of you guys have seen this from me. I literally go back to this all the time, this I solve model. And I literally say to myself, I'm like, what is it? Why are you inspired to be on Shand On Demand right now? Why don't you go in the chat right now? Why are you inspired? What do you like about Shand On Demand? What do you get? I get X from Shand On Demand. Go pop that in the chat right now. I get X. What is X? I get confidence. I get strategy. I get whatever from these lives, right? What is it? Right? I get strategy. I get tribe. I get fire. I get a wake up call. I love that. I get encouragement. I get empowerment. I get leadership. I get motivation. I get truth after years in business. I get empowerment. I get reminders of what I have to do. I get a kick in the butt, right? Okay. So if I was talking to you on a sales call, I would be asking you about, what is inspiring you about talking to me right now? What's the dream? What's the dream? Why are we talking? Right? And that's the I. Once I know what that is, all I need to know is why. That tells me your heart. It tells me your drive too. Right? Like if I told you could be on the Today Show this year from startup to the Today Show, I know you could. I know you could. Right? I know you could. I mean, I want to say that again because it's like, I know you could. I know the exact path and the people to do it. What holds you back? Lack of drive. Well, what gives you lack of drive? Lack of inspiration. Which is why I think it's important to hang out with big people. And when I say big people, everybody's big. I mean, people doing big things. Okay? Because otherwise, this biggest fear I have is getting to the end of my life and be like, I didn't do that thing I wanted. Right? And another big fear I have is not showing my son what it looks like to be connected, loving, and all in. Okay? I don't want to raise another generation that isn't all in. Not interesting to me. Right? And by the way, I edit his friends. Yes, I do. I edit his friends. I want to know their parents. I want to know if they're ambitious. I want to know if they're heart-centered. I want to know if we have value system alignments. Why? Because my kid is going to become who he hangs out with, no matter what I do. He's going to become whoever he hangs out with, which is critically important. S, what's stopping you from hitting that dream? Right? What's stopping you? What's getting in the way? There's two. If you didn't listen to yesterday's live, listen to it. I told you how to overcome that. Okay, so I'm not going to reteach stuff. If you don't have the drive to study these trainings, then I don't know what to tell you, right? That's where you got to pay for some coaching so that somebody holds you accountable. Okay, so what is it? What's the dream? What do you want? Why is that important to you? Now you know somebody's heart and their drive. You need to, I talked about this yesterday. You need to know, is that ambition strong enough? Is that drive strong enough? You need to literally be able to think on your feet like that. Is that drive strong enough? If you can't think on your feet, you need to take intake forms before you talk to people. Okay, so some of you guys need intake forms so that you can think about it. You need to assess, is their drive, is their why they want this dream? Is their drive strong enough to get there? Because you will never coach somebody's emotions 24/7. Their ability to keep their ass in the seat has everything to do with their drive. Right? All the people who back off and tell me all the victim stories, listen, I got them. And everybody on this live right now has got them. We all got them. There is nothing unique about kids, cancer, marriage, divorce, and death. It's everywhere. There's nothing unique about that, right? What's unique is our drive and our heart for people. So what's stopping you? The O is your opinion. Told you don't listen to anybody else's opinions, but listen to yours, right? So what's your opinion for them? That's where you build trust. Um, you guys who don't give enough, you'll lose the sales conversation there because you don't want to give all your stuff away. Well, unfortunately that's a risky move for someone to buy from somebody who's afraid to give all their stuff away. You guys all know we're going to keep getting better. If I give you all my stuff, I've already innovated. I taught stacking. My audience has been stacking. I didn't stack this year. I had one stack this year. I love stacking. It's a great cash injection. But I didn't stack this year. I'm ahead of them. Right? And that's my job. Right? And so I'm ahead of them. And then what does that do for them? Gives them options. If they want to stack or they want to do what they're going to be trained at Zone Event. And you guys have Mentor Me Live. You got the beginning of the trainings on the Freedom Funnels yesterday, right? It's like, that's how they get their life back, right? There's some years you don't have a life. There's other years you have lots of life, right? And that's a strategy. So you need to know what's your opinion for them in a sales conversation. What's your opinion? Like if someone's joining me in network marketing, I have a reason for that, right? Like I look at them and I say, Penny, what if you could create $10,000 of extra residual income and you already have the client base that's willing to do it, right? By the way, you do, right? Go to buildwithshanda.com. You see what I'm saying? Like now, I would have more of an intimate conversation with her about that, right? But I would do that on direct inbox message and I'd follow this. I'd be like, Penny, I can lead the conversation too. Penny, let me just lead. Penny, I'm going to pop you up here for a second. Don't worry, you don't have to buy anything from me. You already have, you're a client. But I'm going to show, so this could be coaching. It could be your retreat. It could be savvy network marketing with me. It could be anything, right? So say I want to lead the conversation, right? I meet you out and about and I didn't lead gen you. Okay, so I'm going to use savvy as an example because it's in left field, okay? So let me ask you a question. I bet you're working really hard for your money, but I know that you're driven, right? And I know that you're driven. You've done a lot. I mean, how much have you done since starting to work with me? You haven't even worked with me for that long. What type of revenue have you done?
Of 40K, which was 40K more than before.
Right? So that's proof that coaching works, right? It's not proof that any of you guys will make $40,000, but it's proof if follow coaching works, right? So that being said, imagine if you could create, I can't give you an income claim, you know that. And me as a business coach, I have to be very careful with that. But if you could double, if you could make another 40K and you had no fulfillment on it, would that be something that you'd be interested in?
Be amazing.
Yeah. So why would that be important to you? For real. Like, because by the way, I can show you how to make $40,000 in network marketing without having to do fulfillment. And I could literally do probably 2 or 3 calls with you, probably 2. And you could rinse and repeat and send that out to your list throughout the course of the next 3 months. And you could probably hit it, right? I can't give you a money guarantee, but that you wouldn't have to do anything for that, right? Like, so why would that, like, what would you use that for? Why would that be important for you?
Well, that's freedom right there to get better, to invest back in the training that I need to do to fulfill my mission and to continue to serve out. Because when you're untied from the weeds,
yeah,
you can go to the stars.
Okay, so see, I see her vision. Do you guys see what she sees? So when you guys sell, I'm not saying everybody does this, but I see it all the time. If you're someone strong like Jonathan on our team or Jessica Beebe or my husband, they can look at you and hear a few words from you and they can drive a close. And the reason why they can drive a close is because they don't need any more data. They know how to take care of you. That's a superpower. Okay. And it is, if they're off emotionally, it won't work. Right. But if they're on and they're being connected and they're loving and they're having a good day, they could just close like crazy. Right. But what I'm showing you is what they see, and what you have to see is what I primed right there. So if you caught this, her drive is that would be amazing. I could get out of the weeds, which is smart, right? It's like if you could get if you can get out of the weeds and free up cash, she said, I would invest it in more coaching or more support or more education to be able to keep growing my company. So I know her drive's in check, right? So what do you think stops you from creating that extra 40K?
That's a lack of vision, because I don't see that pathway. That's not where my brain goes. So coaching helps me see more because someone is using their vision and giving it to me.
So good. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the O. If you do the O in a comparison, are you guys learning anything here? If you do the O in a comparison, I'll share what I mean with the comparison, then you have an enrollment. Okay? So you know me, obviously. You coach with me, but you probably, like, some people might wonder, why would Chanda do a network marketing company, a women's clothing line, right? Like, why would I do that? Because I don't have to do a course. I don't have to do an event. I don't have to do anything. And I already have a community and a list that it makes sense for some of my clients like you to grab a hold of this and create an extra residual stream of income. And the support and the lifting is already inside Savvy. In other words, there's already calls being done by my friend Kim and Tom that are doing these calls, and you can actually send people from your list to those calls and they will enroll them for you. Powerful, right? However, you could also do, and I could give you the Zoom that I did. You could also do the 30-minute Zoom that I did, where I put a really simple framework. I wasn't doing a hard close. I wasn't doing any of that. And I just did a really simple framework where I shared the comparison, where I was like, I want a stream of income that I don't have any fulfillment on. That was my real motivation. Like, I was like, I want something that, like, because I have friends, you guys, I have friends that are making 100, 200, 300, 500. I have a couple friends, I have two friends making $1 million a month, actually three, $1 million a month in network marketing, and they all have other companies. They built it, they put their head down, they built it, and then they let it go, right? And I'm not saying that needs to be your strategy, but that's what I was like, I'm going to focus on this for a year and a half, let it be easy around what I'm already doing. And my goal is 250 to 300 a month. And once I hit that, I'm good. I don't need the $1 million a month, which would be awesome, but that's my vision. That's my honest vision. And so when I talk to someone like you, and I know how driven you are and how good you are actually at talking to people, I know we could take your list and have an explosion with it. Like, you could go to the top of the leaderboard in that company in one Zoom room. Like, and I'm telling you, I know this because I know the numbers. I know what they're doing, right? And I know with your close ratio and who you are, that you could literally, you could take the same emails that I sent, send them out to your list. Don't bait and switch anybody. Tell them that you're doing this network marketing model. And if they want to know how you're doing it and why you're creating this other revenue stream, that you'll show them exactly how to do it, right? And then people come, we do a very simple presentation. You can rinse and repeat that presentation for as long as you want. So as you keep building summits and lists, you could actually, after they buy their VIP, you could send them this presentation, be like, I don't know if this is interesting to you or not, but if it is, here's how I'm creating a reoccurring income stream for my family and my household without having to do any courses, programs, or show up to a 9 to 5. If you're interested in that, take 20 minutes and watch this training, right?
So good.
Build it into your freedom funnel. Right. And it's just like clockwork and rocking and rolling. So if you were, I think you could be having anywhere between 10 and 15 every single month coming in the door. So if you did that, I can't give you an income claim and I don't need to go through the full comp plan, but that's somewhere in the neighborhood of about $12,000 a month that would come in, and then you'd get the reoccurring. Imagine if you did that for 5 months straight. You would actually make more money than you're making in the company right now, but it would free up a business loan essentially for you, right? Be able to now do this, because you don't have to say, Shanna, I can't do that VIP day because I got an event or I got a challenge or I got, you don't have to do that, right? So what do you like about what I just said? That's the L. What did you like about what I just said?
The logic, just to go with another L. Like, I'm a scientist. You lay out a formula. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So 100%. So it makes a lot of sense, which is why I did it, which is why I was like, this would be a no-brainer for some of my clients because there's people like you that already have a business that you could plug it in so easily. There's also people that don't want to do what you do. They don't like they don't have the same vision as you, right? And so they would rather take a model like this where they don't have to come up with pricing, packaging, fulfillment, anything. If I could show them how to market, they'd be like, let's go, right? Like there was a woman coming to Zone Event that I put her in this, right? And by the way, it's like I put her in this because I was like, Zone Events end in November. This woman is a single mom. She needs to make money right now. I put her in this, right? You can't get more authentic than that. So if you have a desire, and then the V is the vision, which is your offer. Okay, the V is the vision, which is your offer. So whatever I put there, so if you went to buildwithshanda.com, buildwithshanda.com, you could jump in, you'd be on my team. And on Thursday, I'll run with you for 2 hours, not in Hardcore Business, not in Shanda On Demand, but in Savvy. I will run with you for 2 hours and help you kickstart this. And so if that's interesting to you, you can go to buildwithshanda.com. Now, if there are people who are jumping into this right now, notice I gave a comparable here. Notice I asked her what she liked about what I just said. I gave her the real story. Was there any hype? Was there any like, now I love hype. I love it. You know what I mean? Like, because I like to get excited about somebody creating another stream of income, or, you know, like she loves to get excited about what she does, right? Like the excitement's awesome, but that was totally off the cusp following a framework. So if you want to join us on buildwithshanda.com, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to recommend you pick the Leaders Pack. There's 3 packages. There's a Leaders Pack or there's a middle package. I don't know what it's called. Do not pick the basic package. That's because you miss too much in that. So I really recommend you pick the Leaders Pack because that's where you can make some real money. Okay. So what did I do? I did the offer. And then if I was talking to you, well, I'm talking to you on Zoom, but if I had a credit card, I could say, X, are you in? Do you want to do this with me? You say yes or no, right? You say yes. I say, excellent. What credit card would you like to put this on? Or excellent. Here's the link, right? Do you guys get what I'm saying? It's easy to follow this framework because you don't have to be, when you hear me say honesty converts, it's because it does. Like what I just said there is honesty. It's why I joined. It's what I'm doing. People are going to come to me in a year and a half or a year or 6 months. Well, 6 months I'll still be building, but a year from now and go, how did you build that $300,000 a month? I'm like, I'm not there anymore. Just like, you know what I mean? I'm not a new mom anymore. I'm not there anymore. I'm off to the next thing. And I did what it takes. This is why urgency is so important for people to not drag their feet. I mean, they're like some of you guys, like Penny, you're not going to be as available next year as you are this year because your company is going to be bigger. So people who, I don't know why the link wouldn't work, buildwithshanda.com. Jonathan, check that. So when you're giving your services now, you need to be able to articulate in this framework in a way that is strong because people need to know that your products, programs, and services are going to change, right? And you're going to get people that are frustrated. I've got one percenter that I've grandfathered in. Their price has gone up, but I've grandfathered in their model because it really works for them, right? But they're the only ones who get it, and they've been with me for like 7 years, 8 years, right? They've been with me for a very long time. I helped them go to $1 million company. They just messaged me this morning with a 7-figure result, right? And so, but I've sold everything here. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Structure-wise, I have this beside me on a piece of paper just like this. And what I do in my V is I write, if it's my coaching program, I might be $500 down, $1,295 a month. Do you know what I mean? And then I would write, 3 mentor calls a month, 6 sales train. Like I put the bullets. Does that make sense, you guys? And the reason why I do that is because we go cuckoo for Cocoa Pops when we're selling, because you're about to get paid and it creates a different energy that comes out of you, and it needs to not be that way. Okay. And so this has always kept me grounded. When I was a people pleaser, it was what kept me grounded. When I was overly driven, it's what kept me in my heart. When I was like really excited about working with something, or even when I've done price increases. I remember my first price increase to $1,500 a month, and I remember the one to $1,700 a month. I don't remember any more after that. And the reason why I remember those is they felt like big numbers for somebody to spend $1,500 or $1,700 a month coaching with me. I had to have this grounded so it just came out of my mouth, right? Like what you saw me do with Penny, it just came out of my mouth because I'm in the framework. I didn't know what I was like, specifically what I was going to say. I don't have a storyline. I just have the honest story about why I did it and what her opportunity is. So if you want to join me in buildwithshanda.com, do that and send me a message today so I know, and anybody else as well. But you get it? What did you learn from me right there?
Just how flawless that is, how it works every time, and the fact that you don't have to change who you are to do that successfully, because it's based on the authenticity. And that's something that I cannot change. I cannot fake it out. So to follow something that means I can speak from the heart and have a real conversation with one person, understand them, and just hook them up is perfect.
That's right. And you can have the conversation one to many. There's ice, baby.
Where?
In the freezer. Looked like he hurt himself. It's kind of weird. So yeah, you can have the conversation one to many like we just did. And by the way, like how many of you guys, just for tracking purposes, how many of you guys are like, actually, you don't even have to answer that. So like, how do I want to land this? Like Penny, you could go do this. You could actually go do this. Like this wasn't my strategy. I didn't know I was going to pull you up, but this is a great strategy to go do with a customer or client and actually walk them through an enrollment process and the iSolve model on a live that you stream, and actually say a URL. The buildwithshanda.com is a real URL, right? And you can join me with the leaders pack in there, 100%. Let me know on Instagram that you jumped in so I can get you hooked up with Thursday's call. Notice I have a call on Thursday. That's not for you guys. It wasn't for this live. I wasn't thinking about it, but I have no shame in offering that, because if you could create another stream of revenue, why wouldn't you do it? Right? If I can show you how to do it, right? So my point in sharing that with you is like, you could do this with it, even with an existing client, about why they jumped in with you. Do you know what I mean? And because that client, like if I did that with Mentor Me Live with you in Mentor Me Live already, we could walk through that and re-invoke your vision in Mentor Me Live. And when that happens with you, and say I dropped a link for Mentor Me Live or for anything, right, you guys, people are going to jump in because they're not stupid. They know what they need. And sometimes the framework of leading somebody in a one-to-many like this, and that's the same way I do it one-to-one, will make a difference in your ability to be able to work with the people that you want to work with. Does that help? Yes or no? All right, let's pop Penny off. Thanks for being a good sport, Penny. It's good to see you. All right, you guys, that's the end of today's live. You guys on Zoom, on the Shanda On Demand, just know that I'm coming back with you right now. If you're watching us on social media right now and you want to track with us, it's $30 to be with us on the Zoom. I highly recommend it. I'm going to go hot seat and work with these people right now. And I'm looking for my URL for that. What is it, Jonathan? Jonathan, what is the URL?
Getgoodcoaching.com.
Getgoodcoaching.com. Isn't that a great URL? Getgoodcoaching.com. I am so tired of the coaching out there that does not give you all the steps, right? Like you got to get the steps. I do better if you make money off of jumping into getgoodcoaching.com. It's $30, right? That means you're going to join me on the Zoom Monday through Friday, first 3 weeks of the month, getgoodcoaching.com. And what that means is if, say, like Carrie's on here, right? So Carrie Matter. If Carrie Matter gets a hot seat that has her go make some money, which is not happening on social media, right? But it's happening on the Get Good Coaching Now. Is it Get Good Coaching Now? Somebody. GetGoodCoachingNow.com or GetGoodCoaching.com?
GetGoodCoaching.com.
GetGoodCoaching.com.
Say it again.
GetGoodCoaching.com.
GetGoodCoaching.com. Okay, so GetGoodCoaching.com. So if I hot seat Carrie and Carrie goes and she creates cash today, that's what can happen on the GetGoodCoaching.com. Okay, for $30. It's the best $30 you could spend, really, in anything that we do. It's the best $30 you could spend. If she goes and creates money and pretend she's not a Mentor Me Live client right now, or she's never booked a VIP day with us, or she's never done our leadership program. Unfortunately, our leadership program is closed for the year. The last training went in today. But if I'm able to help her create a result on the getgoodcoaching.com, like the $30 on-demand master, do you think she's going to probably invest with me? Yes, unless she has another vision for another coach, which is okay, right? But my point is get what you need. Getgoodcoaching.com. Get in for $30, invest in yourself, get on these Zooms with me. I'm going to switch to them right now. I will see you at 9 a.m. California time tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. And if there's somebody that needs to see this, share this link with them. All right, you guys, so much love.